Hi. So short answer, yes. Longer answer, kinda, sorta, maybe. For the most part, yes, kinda. And here's what I mean by that. The products that you would end up using for colored leather, you can use on black leather just fine. However, if a product is used on black leather, that doesn't automatically mean that it's good for the colored leather. And here's why. So essentially what it comes down to is this. If you are using a polish, you either are using a neutral polish or a colored polish, in which case try to color match the product you're using to the garment that you're working on. Shy of that, my go-to will be a neutral polish. So it's literally called neutral. You can get white polish in some cases, so just be careful of that. But essentially the neutral polish, and mine is cracked all to hell, so ignore the cracks. But neutral polish applies clear. Now, the downside to that is you're not going to get any like color reinforcement or like color rejuvenation in what you're working on. So if you are working on, let's say, oxblood high shines, try to use oxblood polish because then you'll actually get some of that color back. If you just want to shine, neutral, and do your best to not like cross-contaminate colors to get colored stuff into your neutral, so you might need to be a little bit more careful with that. The place where you can accidentally run into more complicated issues is with conditioned leather. So if you remember, you've got high shine and you've got oil tan, right? And the oil tan is the leather that feels kind of matte. Most garment leather, I think all garment leather, like harness, chaps, jackets, that kind of thing, is going to fall under that auspice. Boots, there's definitely more variety. But if we're dealing with oil tan, you're wanting to condition the leather, you need to be careful in your product selection. And the reason for that is if you are dealing with a product that is going to discolor, typically what that means is you're going to darken what you are working on. With black leather, that is not a problem. A lot of the time when you darken it, then that's a benefit because then the black leather just like looks better, right? So a lot of boot blacks will automatically gravitate towards Hubbards or Hubards, which is a fantastic leather conditioner. This is my go-to for a lot of things. The problem is it is primarily pine tar and beeswax, and it's like this kind of like dark amber brown color, which can discolor leather, especially if it's quite lighter. So this is fantastic for like black leather or even brown leather. But anything lighter colored than that, this is not typically what I would gravitate towards. No, for me, if I am working on a colored leather that is lighter than like a dark brown, I will go towards two products. I will either do, and I've mentioned this one before, Obenauf's Heavy LP, which is waxier than the Hubards, for one. Like consistency, it'll feel different. But this, it looks like a yellowish paste, and again, it's like the neutral wax, right? It essentially applies clear. So you're not going to worry about discoloration. Also, this is really good for boots like cowboy boots with really intricate stitching, usually really intricate colored stitching. This can usually go over that stitching without a problem. The other one, now Huber's has a branded version of this, but you can get, I don't know if you can read that, Neatsfoot oil. So that is a clear oil, and Neatsfoot oil is good for leather. It's not going to be as substantial as like the shoe grease or even the shoe oil, but it works wonderfully on colored leather, and it works just fine. Let me know if you want me to go more in depth of like when I would do this versus this, because there is some consideration there. But yeah, the main thing to consider if you're working on colored leather is try to use products that are either specifically neutral, like the polish if you're doing a polish job, or just something like the Obenauf's or the Neatsfoot oil that doesn't have like a darkening agent to it.